Earlier last year, we shared our hands-on experience with the multiplayer aspect of Disintegration, a new game from V1 Interactive, a studio comprised of many industry veterans, including the co-creators of Halo. That previous game's experience was very much reflected in the RTS FPS gameplay style of the multiplayer, but until now, we had no idea what the single-player aspect of the online game had to offer. Prima Games recently sat down with the creative director, Lehto, to dive deep into what the single-player aspect of Disintegration brings to the table. If you remember our multiplayer preview, you may recall that we mentioned that this game could have the potential to be the next big thing in gaming or the biggest flop. But after seeing the multiplayer and single player in action, we are definitely leaning more towards the former. During a roundtable setting with Lehto, he mentioned that V1 Interactive's goal was to create a unique niche for gamers to enjoy, something totally new on the current market while still carrying elements that players can feel drawn in by. From what we ourselves have seen of integration, this goal was very much achieved, meaning our best advice when it makes its debut is to go into the game with completely open eyes because there really isn't anything else quite like it. I remember when I played the multiplayer last year and then again during PAX East 2020, I felt a little overwhelmed by the real-time strategy and FPS blend. The learning curve was definitely real, and I know I wasn't alone in feeling that way. The single-player aspects offer a different newness than the multiplayer aspect for obvious reasons, but my biggest takeaway from the sneak peek was that I was just massively impressed and eager to learn more. Many times getting to see a game early and hearing the passion of the team behind it leaves me feeling excited, but Disintegration left me feeling hungry for more and thoroughly perplexed in the best way possible. Despite being set 150 years in the future, there's something entirely present about this narrative, and with everything going on right now, it almost felt like a gut punch. The setting sees a massive fall after global warming ravages the Earth and a pandemic, see what I mean, leaving humanity feeling vulnerable and uncertain. As with many futuristic games, these desolate settings and feelings inspires a sense of innovation and creative will to survive, causing the process of integration to be developed to encase a person within a robotic machine, effectively elongating the lifespan of the average human by 200 years. The shelf life is temporary, which eventually causes the disintegration of the neural pathways and robotic connections to fall away, showing that no one fix is ever permanent. Where disintegration as a narrative comes into play is a fast forward into the future following the popularization of this technology, and sees nefarious forces using the innovation for their own purposes to form what is called the Rayon. The Rayon then sets out to kill all quote-unquote naturals with the hopes of total obliteration and control, therefore sparking a new way of terror and a fight to be the last man standing. Stepping into the role of the main character, Romer, is incredible. He's integrated himself, and unlike the enemy, he knows his humanity and will do anything in his power to keep it. What's interesting about this character is seeing reflections of his pre-integration life as a badass pilot and celebrity from a show called Cradle Grav. His entire shtick was to review the gravicycles, which are the flying motorcycles, in a live stream format, and his love for the craft and his viewership definitely skyrocketed once his own integration process took place. With the war, one can assume the protagonist would be this paragon of unwavering good, but what he actually is a very human, almost con man? Not necessarily in a bad way per se, but very bounty hunter-esque in how he controlled the pieces of both sides of the war in an effort to remain one step ahead and to keep himself safe. But as we all know, that sort of game is dangerous, and eventually he made a sale to the wrong person, which is how he finds himself imprisoned by the enemy team. We also learned that Romer has a special history with the leading villain, Black Shuck, which kickstarts a desire for the player to see him do and be better. They don't mention that Romer's story is one that is about making up for previous mistakes, and that's what the single-player experience has to offer. While the multiplayer part of the game offers strategic combat placed within a world but feeling very separate at the same time, the single-player adventure feels almost guttural in how it thrusts players into what being human is all about, making mistakes and learning from them. We don't have the release date at this time for Disintegration, but one thing is for sure, I need more of this game, and I'm very excited for everyone to learn more about what the studio's newest adventure will have to offer. We are aiming for a 2020 late launch, is what the studio told us, but hopefully we'll have a more specific release date here soon. Thank you guys for tuning in to our hands-on preview with Disintegration, and you can learn more over at primagames.com, and we can't wait to share more with you in the near future. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye!